Stronger.
And now, this is News Views, a newscast for Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, and the world. This is Bill Ratner speaking. And now, Michael Badger.
This is News View. I'm Michael Badger. Tonight's first story is that from WICD-TV, the Champaign-Urbana Big Broadband Project, known as UC2B, is looking to expand. If this happens, everyone in Champaign-Urbana and Savoy will have access to one of the fastest broadband internet networks in the country. A private partnership company, Gigabit Squared, is picking 6 communities throughout the nation to split $200 million with to bring fast internet service. To be chosen as one of the 6, Champaign-Urbana would have to show a demand from people and businesses in our community by getting them signed up early. Those who commit to a 12-month service plan by the end of this month will pay $100 up front and another $400 when construction starts. By paying the money up front, the internet cost will be discounted $8.50 a month for the first 5 years. That would save people almost $510 during the 5-year period. If this area wins and is chosen, construction is set to begin in spring of 2013. That's next spring. What if you commit, spend money, and then we aren't chosen, is the question here. The cities plan to find another private partnership with the same terms if it doesn't work and they're not picked. And if all else fails, everyone gets their money back in full anyway. For more information, go to WICD.com, click on Web Watch on the left of your screen for a direct link on your computer. And from the Los Angeles Times, they're saying that the California cities are going bankrupt. According to Phil Wilson, Kathleen Salient, and Abby Swell, they say facing the same financial stressors that pushed San Bernardino towards bankruptcy, cities across California are slashing day-to-day services and taking other drastic actions to skirt a similar fiscal collapse. But for some cities, it may not be enough, they say. San Bernardino on Tuesday became the 3rd California city to see bankruptcy protection in the last month, and while no one expects the state to be consumed by municipal insolvencies, other cities teeter on the abyss. That, according to the Los Angeles Times. You can read more about that in the Los Angeles Times local section. And the President Obama campaign for president is saying Romney is a liar and a potential criminal. Obama deputy campaign manager Stephanie Cutter suggested Mitt Romney might be a criminal in a conference call with reporters at the Boston Globe. And that shows that Romney stayed at Bain Capital 3 years past when he'd left. She said that could mean 2 things. It could mean Mitt Romney was misrepresenting his position to Bain, to the Securities and Exchange Commission, and that would be a felony, or he was misrepresenting his position at Bain to the American people. And she says if that's the case, if he was lying to the American people, that's a real character and trust issue. Cutter also called on the Romney campaign to clear up the issue by releasing the candidate's tax returns. She said, quote, "If the SEC filings aren't accurate, then prove it," unquote. Bob Bauer, head lawyer of the Obama campaign, said who is also a former White House councilman, also implied that Romney could be in legal trouble. He said that the SEC documents are very uncertain. No, he said they're, quote, "very carefully scrutinized by lawyers because of the very severe consequences following from making statements to the SEC that aren't correct," unquote. And an Obama campaign spokesman has sent over his following statement from Bob Bauer, quote, "Romney and Bain claim that he was not involved with Bain, but Bain and its portfolio companies in their required filings under the Securities Exchange Act continuously certified the Securities and Exchange Commission say precisely the opposite, asserting without qualification that he was a controlling person fully in charge of Bain under the federal securities law. Under normal circumstances, the question of the truth of this representation would result in an investigation by the SEC into possible criminal as well as civil violations of the law," unquote. And according to CNN Tech at CNN.com, Yahoo was hacked and 450,000 passwords were posted online. The hackers posted online what they say is login information. The hack, which of course was conducted anonymously, was meant to be a warning, according to the webpage where the documents were dumped. Quote, "We hope that the parties responsible for managing the security of this subdomain will take this as a wake-up call and not as a threat," unquote, said a note on the page. It also went on to say, quote, "There have been many security holes exploited in web servers belonging to Yahoo Inc. that have caused far greater damage than our disclosure. Please do not take them lightly," unquote. The statement adds that the subdomain and vulnerable parameters, unquote, that were used to hack the site were not posted to, quote, "to avoid further damage." And you can read more about that at CNN.com. And according to the Mail Online, at dailymail.co.uk, a man age of 20 was eaten alive by tigers after breaking into a zoo at night. This was at the Copenhagen Zoo today after he scaled a fence and crossed a moat to gain access to the predator's enclosure. The victim, who has been identified as 20-year-old Afghan descent, a 20-year-old Afghan descent living in Copenhagen, was savaged by 3 tigers after breaking into the zoo in the Danish capital in the early hours. He was found dead, surrounded by the Siberian tigers when staff arrived for work. Danish newspaper Eskilstræde spoke to the young man's family and relatives earlier today, and a member of his family told the paper, quote, "We have cried all day." of his friends said, "I'm absolutely shattered." Another said he was a really, really nice guy, quote unquote. Superintendent Lars Borg revealed that a post-mortem examination has shown the man was bitten on the thigh, chest, and throat by the tigers. He said, "We received an emergency call at about 7:30 a.m. that a person had been found lying in the tiger pen and that 3 tigers were surrounding that person. The tigers attacked him and killed him. It is likely that a bite to the throat was the primary reason for death. He has been in the water, and the animals must have seen that and attacked him." Detectives are now trawling through CCTV footage to try to exactly establish how the man accessed the enclosure. Stephen Stardy, the zoo's chief executive, said psychologists have been called to talk to the staff who found the body. He added that this was the first incident of its kind in the zoo's 152-year history and that he has no plans to review security. He said, quote, "If a person really wants to get in there, we cannot prevent it from happening," unquote. Zoo officials and police are continuing the investigation, and the public is continuing their visits to that zoo. And we'll be right back after this break. Stay tuned for more News View after this.
This is not a race. On the road to financial independence, the winners are the ones who stay the course. Learn more about securing your financial future and choose to save. It will pay off in the long run.
Support Tree City USA by planting trees. Visit arborday.org.
Welcome back to News View. I'm Michael Badger. Grocers stock has fallen with Super Value's grocery shares, and their grocery store value tumbled Thursday following word from Super Value that it would cut prices, ramping up competition in a sector that is already fierce as customers pull back on spending, according to Bloomberg Businessweek at businessweek.com. Super Value, which owns Albertsons, Jewel Osco, Save-A-Lot, and other grocery chains, reported late Wednesday that it was making sweeping changes to its business following a dismal first quarter. The company is suspending its dividend and is reviewing its strategic alternatives. The Minneapolis company had already lowered prices at some of its stores as part of a multi-year turnaround effort. It said that it needed to intensify those efforts and now aims to have half of its stores review prices compared with peers by the end of the fiscal year, and the lower prices at the remaining stores in the year 2014. SuperValue Inc. is making an aggressive attempt to win back customers that have switched allegiance largely due to the prices. SuperValue's actions should have negative effects on the entire food retail space, says J.P. Morgan analyst Ken Goldman in a research note. Quote, "The faster that SuperValue lowers prices, the faster its competitors either sacrifice share or match SuperValue's price investments and lose margin," unquote. Goldman also said that it appears more likely that the industry, especially Safeway in Chicago, where SVU is taking prices down now, is going to experience more pain in the near term. Safeway Inc. shares fell nearly 10% to a $16.26 share price by midday. The shares of Kroger Company, the nation's largest traditional grocery chain, fell 4% to $21.88 a share. SuperValue fared the worst, failing more than 45% to $2.90 by midday, setting record lows for the company. Its stock had already lost nearly 90% of its value over the past 5 years as of Wednesday's closing price of $5.29. And in other news, Dick Cheney, former Vice President Dick Cheney, according to CapitolColumn.com, the Capitol Column, according to Megan Tate, Dick Cheney is going to hold a major fundraiser for Mitt Romney. This will be at his Wyoming ranch on, yesterday. Yesterday, Dick Cheney probably held a fundraiser for Mitt Romney at his ranch. And the University of Illinois Standards Board has reached a deal to keep the Police Institute open at the Champaign-Urbana campus. The U of I and the board that oversees police training academies in the state said Monday that they have reached a deal to keep the Police Training Institute at the school's Urbana-Champaign campus open. And you can see more about that at therepublic.com. And our severe drought area has expanded, according to Channel 3 News at WCIA.com. The counties affected right now in the severe part of the drought are McLean, Ford, Champaign, Vermilion, Douglas, Edgar, Coles, Clark, Cumberland, Crawford, Effingham, Jasper, Fayette, Montgomery, Shelby, Christian, Macoupin, Morgan, Sangamon, Macon, Moultrie, Piatt, DeWitt, Logan, Menard, Cass, and Ford, Warren in Indiana, and Fountain County in Indiana. That's in the Channel 3 viewing area. And it goes beyond those counties to the east and to the west. And there's even an extreme section of drought to the southeast of that. And with the north seeing moderate drought, type of drought right now. And also, according to Channel 3, a 17-year-old in Danville has drowned in a swimming pool. Investigators are trying to piece together how a teenager drowned at a pool. This happened Sunday morning early at Sunset Cove Apartments. The coroner says the victim was 17-year-old George De La Hoya. Police say the pool was closed and locked when the drowning happened. It closes every night at 10 p.m. Police say De La Hoya and two friends climbed a wall near the bathroom to get into the pool. The maintenance manager said the men were visiting a resident of the complex. He says they must have entered the pool area around 2:30 a.m., even though the people they were visiting told them not to do so. Police say De Hoya and his friends went in the pool, and De Hoya's friends found him unresponsive in the water. The manager says his friends tried doing CPR, but De La Hoya died at a hospital just after 3 a.m. The manager says he still can't believe what happened. Manager Jeremy Carson said, quote, "I was woken up at 3 a.m. and it's in the back of my mind every time I walk across the pool or by the pool," unquote. He also said, quote, "It's affecting me big time," unquote. The doorway to the pool has a new lock on it because firefighters had to cut through the old one to get inside. Carson was especially upset this happened since the pool is surrounded by a fence and safety rules clearly state that no one is allowed after hours. The coroner's office is waiting on toxicology results, and De La Hoya was pronounced dead Sunday morning after being found at the apartment complex. An autopsy performed Monday revealed that the cause of death was drowning. The Danville Police Department and Vermilion County Coroner's Office are continuing to investigate the circumstances surrounding his death. And according to WICD TV 15 in Champaign, the corn crop is in crisis. Farmers say that 1988 was the last year they remember the corn being in jeopardy this much. It could take half of the year's corn crop because of the lack of rain. If we don't get some rain soon, the results will be devastating, they say. And that's it for news tonight on Newsview. Stay tuned for weather. Thanks for watching Champaign-Urbana's Newsview.
Season after season, our national forests give us beauty to behold, places to play, clean water, clean air, and good homes. But millions of acres of our national forests have been lost to fire and disease. And now the Arbor Day Foundation asks for your help to replant our national forests so that seasons from now we'll still have forests to enjoy and a place to live. Visit arborday.org. See what we're doing. See how you can help.
And here's your Central Illinois weather on Newsview. Friday night, a low of 69 degrees Fahrenheit with a 40% POP and thunderstorms likely. Saturday, high of 85 degrees Fahrenheit, POP 40% with thunderstorms likely. Saturday night, low of 71 degrees, POP at 40% again with a chance of thunderstorms. And Sunday, high Sunday 90 degrees with a 40% chance of thunderstorms again. Then Sunday night, partly cloudy with a low Sunday night of 71 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm Michael Badger, and this has been your News View weather for Central Illinois on July 13th, 2012. Stay tuned for the end of News View.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Sometimes people take for granted about the best things ever planted, but they should be enchanted, should appreciate their trees.
Trees, Carly's Arbor Day Foundation spreads the word across the nation about trees.
Trees are terrific.
Coming up next on UPTV at 9:30, Fast Forward, and at 12:30, R&R TV.